So, Paul, you've talked about an object that's inspired you, the photograph that inspired you as well of your family, and also moments where you've had dinner with someone and they've shared some inspiration with you. Have there been any moments where you've shared inspiration with others you'd like to talk about?
So I actually looked up a dictionary definition of inspiration. I was like, well, okay, well, like I think I know what this is, but and I always say my events inspire, and I want to inspire people. So I think I do inspire people with my monthly events. That's one thing definitely. I do try and excite people. I do try and get people to think, get a more positive mindset, so that they're open to new ideas and new ways of thinking. Definitely, I have a lot of conversations with people every week. I've had some today. Like every day of the week, I'm speaking to people who are in business, starting business, or in business, who are looking for new ways to do things. And I can, like, not being a knob about it, but like I can see it in their eyes. Like I do inspire when I'm talking to people. But the inspiration comes from within them. I'm just good at getting that out of them.
Yeah,
I'm good at using that inspiration from within. I don't know, that's just practice. I've just done it over many years.
So you're making them aware of the inspiration they already have.
Yeah.
Maybe they just haven't really found it fully, but you're just able to identify it.
Exactly. Like I remember actually many years ago, I worked for Shell iWire, which is a youth enterprise scheme funded by Shell, the pep company. And it was all about helping young entrepreneurs, 16 to 30. That was the definition back then. And you'd get people ringing up with an idea, and you could tell they were really nervous and a bit timid on the phone, but then you'd listen to them, you'd like give them some advice and some encouragement. So many times people say, I can't believe you've not laughed at my idea, and you've listened and you've given me some help. And sometimes that's all it needs. It just needs someone to actually listen and like say, yeah, there's something here, but you know, you need to work on this, or you need to look at that. And some people don't know what they don't know, and some ideas are a little bit ridiculous, but I like to think that any idea is, if it's humanly possible, they can do it.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to put the idea out there, don't you? It's like, and getting that sort of, okay, if the idea is good, how do I make it work? You know, it's like thinking, is it practical? Can you actually pull it off? You know, sometimes once you've got an idea, how do you actually execute that well is probably the next step, I guess.
Yeah, and then I'm going to be a bit more specific now, because I know that's what probably one. So there's a couple of guys who I think you know, Ross and Matt Moran, Ross Cooney and Matt Moran.
Yeah.
They've been in the tech scene for a long time. Used to run the Super Mondays events. Ross went on to be CTO of Iron Property, which is a very successful tech company now. He left that and him and Matt were both working as fractional CTOs. And I met up with them around about February, March time, I think it was. And they saw that I was doing my events and I was back running my own business. And they had a very embryonic idea of what a new business could be. And we met up actually for coffee just downstairs in Tiny Time. Yeah, give it a shout out. And talked through what they were working on. And I suggested a few things where I saw there might be some opportunities. And I suggested a couple of people for them to speak to. And then they were saying, oh, you know, we've still got a bit of work to do. And I was like, well, would you like to speak at my platform event? And they were like, that might be a bit much. I was like, no, well, let's get it booked in. So I just booked them in there. And then I said, right, okay, you're speaking on this date. And they came and they spoke at the event. And by the time they came, that really focused their mind. And they had a fully formulated business plan, idea, website, proposition. And at the event and since the event, they've credited that conversation, and that deadline has been a bit of a catalyst to them bringing that business to life, and they're doing really well now. And that's their own ability that's made that successful, but they needed someone or a couple of people to just like help them sort of narrow the focus and
sort of light that fire. I mean, I remember I was at that event and I was very impressed with their talk. And they said, yeah, and I spoke to them and said, that was a fantastic presentation. They said, oh, that's wonderful because we'd only just put it together last night. I couldn't believe it. It was pitch perfect. It was very clear. It was like a pitch they'd worked on for weeks. I was very impressed. That's what inspired me to kind of do my own presentation about what I was doing. But what they did there and what you helped them do was amazing, because you wouldn't know that. they came across very confident. They just needed someone to point them in the right direction, to give them the way they needed to go, basically.
Yeah, good. Well, again, inspired them. They've inspired themselves, and they've inspired you, and I'm sure many others that were there as well. And they inspired me as well. I'm at my events, but I'm loving it. I'm really inspired every time that I do an event. I go away really buzzing and excited and loving what I'm doing.
That's really good to hear, because when you're getting a lot from your own events and getting inspired from the people who are talking there, that's really incredible to hear. So next is basically when you're actually finding inspiration for yourself. When does that actually happen? Does it happen in the morning or in the evening? When do these moments of inspiration happen for you?
You get inspiration from all kinds of places. I do just from having conversations like this. This is firing off ideas in my head. I'm like, all right, okay, I want to do this and I want to do that. And having conversations with other entrepreneurs, other business owners, I find that really inspiring and a real privilege to do that almost every day. Events like my events, but other people's events as well. So many times I've just been sat in the audience and light bulbs gone off, and I've thought, right, okay, I want to do this now. Just something someone said, just open a little door to a new way of thinking. Personally, I love going for walks. I did a lot of that during the lockdown, like a lot of people probably did. But yeah, long walks, countryside. Love going up to Hadrian's Wall. Probably no surprise going up there. But yeah, we're along the coast as well. Just kind of obvious stuff. Music's really powerful as well. I remember music was a massive thing for me when I was growing up. And then I kind of fell out of love with it a little bit. I remember I went through a phase where I was just driving around in silence, like not listening to anything, just the sound of driving. And then, during the lockdown and when I, again, like a new beginning, I suppose, I thought, well, I love music. Why am I not listening to music? So I just music on all the time. Every morning, first thing, as soon as I got up, put music on. Just film, books. I'm a creative person, or I get a lot of inspiration from creativity, and in all its forms. And street art, love graffiti. And anything creative and entrepreneurialism, I think is like an ultimate form of creativity. Is really when you're creating something out of nothing, when you're bringing an idea to life, and that's inspiration to me.
No, that's really good. Yeah, because you never know where things might go. I remember you mentioned Super Mondays before, and I know that was a pivotal event for a lot of people in the Northeast like myself, who basically kind of found it as a gateway to all sorts of other events. There was lots of companies and things started from there that kind of helped catapult a lot of the things that happen now from then. And it was good to hear that sort of involved back then as well. It's like to hear those same names still being in this area, now starting their own businesses or whatever. It's really good to see how dynamic things are and how you've been a major part of that as well.
Yeah, thank you. I watched a documentary the last couple of nights all about the punk movement called DOA. It was in 1980. That's when it came out. But it's all about, a large part of it is about the Sex Pistols tour of the US, which is they broke up soon after. But a lot of people talk about the Sex Pistols, going to see the Sex Pistols, and how that there's like a famous gig that apparently everyone went to, but there was no way that they went to because it was like hardly anyone there. But how many groups were formed off the back of that? Just that they were a catalyst, and you never know where these catalysts are going to come from. And I like to expose myself to lots of different situations and different environments that are going to inspire me in some way.
Yeah, because you never know when an opportunity might strike. You might be an event and a thought comes to mind, an idea, anything else, you just never know. That's why it's good to go to as many events and things as possible. And I'll go myself to a lot of events in the Northeast. You just kind of bring together a lot of ideas and think, oh, that's something I never thought of, or you might not have even been aware of some of these businesses or whatever any other way. So it's really good to sort of immerse yourself in various different things that are going on in this region, which is always really good.
Yeah.